It is now my honor to introduce today's first speaker. Charles Antis is the founder and CEO of Antis Roofing and Waterproofing. His excitement and exuberance are sure to motivate you all this morning. Under Charles' leadership, Antis Roofing has supported its community through partnerships with the Ronald McDonald House and Habitat for Humanity. Since 2009, the company has donated every roof installation of every home built by Orange County Habitat. Charles' passion rings through as a purposeful superhero, changing the world by helping others do well by doing good. His enthusiasm and the commitment that the company has made was the reason that the Chamber recognized them last year as the best corporate steward for small and mid-sized businesses. So please help me recognize Charles Antis, CEO and founder of Antis Roofing and Waterproofing.
Thank you, Brooks. Don't you love that guy? Isn't he amazing? I love the Chamber people, the Chamber Foundation people. 28 years and 6 months ago, Antis Roofing was born. And I didn't start the company because I had a great business plan. I didn't have any work. The company I was working for didn't have any work, so I just needed side jobs so I could feed my child. And I didn't sleep real well at that time because I was so stressed, wondering if I was gonna get that call. And I didn't have a big roofing company. I just had the ability to do one thing, and that's solve whatever leaks. So I would say, do you have a leak that no one can solve? I'll do it. And that's how I get work. And one night that I couldn't sleep, I remember getting up and I actually put weather stripping on the home office door I'd converted, so when people called, they didn't hear my child crying. That was the work I was doing, trying to build my business. And then one day I got a phone call, and a lady said, I have leaks in every room. I'm like, yeah, I can make some money. So next day I drive out there and I'm getting closer to the home, and I notice the homes are getting smaller and then more disheveled, until finally I turned on the place where the home would be, and I saw dead grass, 4 walls, and a flat roof. And I was bummed. I needed to make money. I had a mortgage payment in 2 weeks, but Dad said you always show up, so I went and knocked on the door, and 3 things happened fast that I'll never forget. The door was answered by a woman, middle-aged, with a really tired look on her face. At that exact moment, when I was about to greet her, I was overwhelmed with the smell of mildew. And I thought, oh my God, I have to leave this home. And as I started to pull away, I felt something. It was a tug at my finger. And when I looked down, I saw the most beautiful, blonde-haired 6-year-old girl who had the opposite expression of her mom and me. And she had a smile from ear to ear because she didn't smell this mildew. She just had a visitor in her home, and she was happy, and she had no idea her home was about ready to be taken away from her. And so she pulls me into this crowded living room, into this hallway, until finally she pulls me into what is her room. I can tell because she's pointing to this unicorn poster on the wall with this big smile, but all I see are 4 moldy mattresses on the ground. What do? I didn't want to do anything because I had to make a mortgage payment in 2 weeks, and I didn't have the money for it. This was not a comfortable feeling. We want to smile right now, but right then it was painful. And I didn't know what to do. Until finally the mom walked in again with that expression. And I don't know where this came from, but for the first time in the history of Antis Roofing that I can remember, purpose showed up before profit. And I just said, I'm going to fix your roof. And I went up there, and they needed a whole new roof. And so I had to get on the phone and get 6 volunteers because they didn't have any employees yet. And we went there that Saturday, and I got some crude roofing materials, and we put on one of my very first roofs. And it was drippy on the outside, but it was dry on the inside, and the family stayed in their home. And that was really cool. I mean, that was really cool. That was the start of something that would eventually lead to a policy of why we exist, and that is Antis Roofing exists to keep families safe and dry. And it shows up like this. We never could let anybody have a leaky roof just because they didn't have the money to pay. And I love experiences like that, because in experiences like that, we find ourselves. But how do we find who we are? How do we find where we can make our impact? I'm going to tell you another story. I have a COO that is amazing. I recruited her for a long time, and she finally came to Antis Roofing, and I needed her because I'm a founder, and you ever heard about founder syndrome? It's a real thing. I mean, I don't mean to, but I'm like a seagull boss. I flap my wings, squawk a lot, and shit all over everybody. I don't mean to do that. Well, Karen comes in, and all of a sudden I notice our departments are getting along. I'm on financial numbers that are accurate, and I'm sleeping better through the night. And I want to reward Karen, and I like to be clever in my words. And I came in one day, I go, Karen, do you realize that you have a superhero? Or do you realize that you're a superhero? And she goes, yeah. I go, what do you mean? What are your superpowers? And she said, I lift everybody I touch every day. Wow. I mean, would you take that if your COO said, I lift? You'd take it if I lift 25% of the people I touch. You go, okay, you take it. Her mindset was way beyond that. She lifts everyone she touches. I love that. A few weeks later, she comes to my office, she hands me a paper, she goes, come with me to Seattle. And she has this mischievous grin, and I go, what? Let's go to Seattle to the Imperative Purpose Lab where Arthur Woods and Aaron Hurst, Imperative Purpose Lab, where you're gonna learn your superpower. And I'm saying, okay, I'm scared, but she's pulling me to Seattle. And Karen takes me there, and I start this process of finding out who I am. Have you ever done assessments like love language, Briggs and Myers, DISC? Anyone ever do a DISC? Okay, I'm a high I. Now, but the first time I did a DISC about 12 years ago in my Vistage group, everyone said, you're a high I, you want to be the center of attention, you want everyone to like you. I said, no, I don't. But I did. And then after a couple of months, I sat with that, and I go, oh my God, I do. That's why I'm good at sales. That's why I'm good at marketing. That's why our customer care is really good in our company. And I understood myself better, and it changed my mindset a little bit. I mean, these assessments are real. Have you done emotional intelligence? I mean, that'll really make you feel stupid, but it'll really help you. So I go up there, and I get this deep assessment, and I found out something really awesome. Because the whole concept is to find out what fulfills you. If we can find out what fulfills us, therein lies our power. And so I sat there and I wasn't finding it, and I was frustrated because I've been frustrated my whole life because I'm not a good tutor, I'm not a good manager, and I wouldn't have admitted that to you until now. But when I was tutoring my daughter when she was 10 in math, she got so frustrated, she looked at me and started crying and said, you're mean. And I was, because I had told her, Allie, you're going to be the only one in your class that doesn't get this. That was the best I could come up with for the moment. I'm not a good tutor. I'm not a good manager. When I'm managing people, I'm kind of like Disneyland dad boss. Like, okay, I don't want to do a one-on-one. Do whatever you want, and that doesn't work. But what I found out there is on the 4th day, after much frustration, another cohort member, the HR director from Carnival Cruise Lines, looked at me and goes, Charles, you're not a tutor. You're not a manager. You are an ambassador. You are fulfilled by igniting passion in others for social change. And I put that on. And my life has been totally awesome ever since. We came back, and I'm telling you this because we brought a third person. The third person we brought is our HR director, Ernie Bastillo. Ernie Bastillo's superpower is this. He creates superheroes. He's like Professor Charles Xavier from the X-Men. He's building powers into all of our people. And Susan, I'm not going to embarrass you and have you name your superpower. But I have amazing people like Susan and Corey who build structure and bring passion to so many people. The exciting thing is when we did this, we noticed everything started getting better. We do donate all the habitat roofs, but last year, because we're all working together, we also donated 62 different nonprofit roofing projects. 62 different nonprofits we donated roofing to. We can't keep anybody, we can't let somebody have a leaky roof just because they don't have the money to pay. And also, we listen to our people. Because of you, some of the awesome Chamber Foundation members have shared what they do. Like Disney and several others have given us things like paid time volunteering off and dollar matching for donating to the causes that your people care about. But what we really need to do is turn to our people, find out who they are and what fulfills them, and in doing that, we've really been able to do it. We have Aguinaldo, an annual Christmas bonus. We have the Lobo Awards because our people are mostly Mexican. They're laborers that came from Mexico, and now we listen and we're moving mountains together. And because of that, A member of the Chamber Foundation External Advisory Board, Bill Good, came to us a couple of years ago and goes, what can we do to lift the roofing industry? Charles, the roofing industry, he was also the NRCA president, the National Roofing Contractors Association president. It's the only industry that hasn't recovered from pre-recession margin. What can we do? And I got an idea. I know. Movember, we all grow our beards. And I was so excited. And I remember Corey was on the phone with me, and I had the director from the Roofing Alliance and the director from the NRCA. And I said, we're gonna all grow our beards, and all of the roofers, 500,000 of us across the country, we're gonna grow our beards. It's gonna be so exciting. And it was like crickets. You know, nobody got it at all. In fact, they didn't ask any questions, and I was humiliated, and I hung up, and I was frustrated. But when Bill Good came to me and he asked me, what can we do to lift the industry? He told me why. He said the industry, 3 out of 5 businesses will be gone. They'll close the doors in 3 years. And so this was a big moment, and I want you to recognize this moment because it hit me right then. Oh my God, the world needs me, and I am perfectly prepared for the task. Everything we had done had led up to this, and so I didn't hang my head low. I came up with another idea because I'm also on the board of Ronald McDonald House, and we also donate the roofing for our local Ronald McDonald House. And I found out through a friend at Ronald McDonald House, there are 184 Ronald McDonald Houses across the U.S. And so I said, I got it. I wrote it on the prospectus, sent it to Chicago, and I waited. I called, hey, what's happening? And it was like crickets, and they're not gonna do anything. And then a couple months later, I went to San Diego at the annual Roofing Alliance meeting where these roofers gather. And if you ever see a gathering of roofers, I'm gonna describe them to you as kind of a little bit like John Wayne, like a rugged cowboy. These guys are the ones that are risking their lives up on your roofs across the country, and there's a little macho to them, and there's big hands because they use their hands. And when I watched this, I remember 2 things. They showed the Ronald McDonald film, and they gave the pitch that we could accept Ronald McDonald House as our first ever nonprofit partner. And I watched these men raise their hands first to pretend they weren't crying and dot their eyes. I did the same thing. But then they all raised their hands like this, and we voted that Ronald McDonald House Charities would be our first ever nonprofit partner in our 130-year trade industry. And now, because of that, families with sick kids don't ever have to worry about whether they're gonna have a safe and dry room. We're gonna keep them dry from this point forward. This is an awesome collaboration. The roofing industry is lifting. When I went to the last board meeting, our president, Reed Ribble, our CEO, said, I want each of you board members to tell us what you are doing in your communities. There is a big heart in our industry, and now there is much action. And our brand is lifting, and we're sleeping better through the night. I tell you this because I look around this room, and you are the tribe of good. I mean, this is where I'm safe. I can talk about this here because you guys believe. In this room, we believe that it's our job to build the bridge all the way to everyone, whether they want it or not. We are all inclusive. And I look at you and I say, what is your story? Are you telling it? Are you being vulnerable? Are you finding out who you are? What is your superpower? What fulfills you? Do you awaken people? Do you lift people? Or are you one of those really special superheroes that notices the unnoticed? I look at you and I say, the world needs you. And you are perfectly prepared for the task. This is important work we're doing. I believe in it. I have the best company I've ever had, and the best people I've ever had, and I get to hang out with you. We are changing the world. Thank you for showing us how, and thank you for teaching us that we can choose and create the world that we want to live in. Thank you.
Please welcome the Vice President